Michael, Dornbusch download 149. What's coming for Dornbusch download 150, Dowie?
Yeah, crikey. Well, I'm sitting here trying to sort of get a handle on we're at 149 already, but 150, we'll have to do something a little bit special, I guess.
And if you have a request, please let us know, because we don't have any idea what's going to happen with Dornbusch download 150. But look, it's been an interesting week in markets. You know, it's the old cliche, what can happen in a week, but we thought we'd spend a bit of time, because we've been spending a lot of time on phones with clients talking about CommBank. Do you want to maybe just give everyone a bit of a rundown as to CommBank, as to what's been going on there?
Yeah, look, definitely, Andrew. And I guess too, and we mentioned it a bit last week, we're in the throes of reporting season, so there's a heap of information coming out broadly just at the moment. But of course, Commonwealth Bank, been in the news, not for all the right reasons, of course. What was it, late last week, they'd run into some problems with one of the government agencies, Austrac, basically sort of monitors transactions and all of that sort of thing. And Commonwealth Bank weren't quite up to speed with some of their legal obligations, and these dated back to, I think it was 2012, from some of their sort of smart deposit machines. Yeah, so Commonwealth Bank really got run over the coals when that news came out. From memory, I think the price dropped $4 or $5, on the day, and basically, I think the market's a little bit concerned that where there's smoke, there's potentially fire. So I don't think we've seen the last of this just for the time being. Wouldn't be at all surprised if there's a few other maybe little skeletons in the closet to come out.
But if I was CBA, I'd try and, nobody wants a problem, but if there is a problem, now's the time to be bringing all the skeletons out, rather than, everything's fine, and then 3 or 6 months time they go, but by the way, there's also...
Yeah, absolutely. As you know, Andrew, there's no hiding from this stuff. It'll come, if it is there, it'll come out. So
get in front of it.
You're exactly right. Drag it all out, take the big hit and move on.
And it reminds me a lot, and you'd remember this too, Michael, around NAB about 10 years ago. You had those 3 young guys, they did that Forex trading, they lost about $300 or $400 million at the time. Everyone's running around with their hair on fire saying this is the end of NAB, share price dropped 10%, and in 6 months it had all been, well, not forgotten, but like a lot of the heat had come out of it. It's got that feel all over again. And interestingly, a number of people ringing up wanting to sell CBA, which I've found really challenging. I would have thought, if anything, and we've been strong buyers of CBA the last few days, to be selling at these levels. Yeah.
Oh, it is. It's always that initial shock, isn't it? And as we know, and again we've spoken about it many times, the media does really jump on these bad news stories, and often they can sound a lot worse than potentially what they are. I mean, look, bottom line, CBA's done the wrong thing, no doubt about it. In the grand scheme of things, it's not going to be a major hindrance on them by any way, shape or form.
And that's probably a good segue into their result today. So they've just announced their result in the last hour or so. How was the result?
Yeah, look, pretty good, Andrew. Yeah, a bit higher than expectations. Look, numbers again, fantastic. Just a bit shy of $9.9 billion cash profit, 9.88 I think it was, to get a bit closer. Dividend was up to $2.30 from $2.23 last year. The common equity tier 1 ratio was strong as well, up to 10.1%. So just shy of this sort of 10.5% that we've got to get to by 2020. Bad and doubtful debts were very low again. I think 14 basis points of all total loans and advances.
Which is a nothing.
Yeah, 0.14%. So, Andrew, they're looking in pretty good nick. Strong net interest margin as well, 2.11%, I think, from memory. So,
and that's what again makes this whole Austrac thing, the money laundering thing, so disappointing, because the business itself is humming along quite nicely, but management have just dropped the ball on something so fundamental like anti-money laundering.
Yeah, exactly right. And I guess the caveat too, Andrew, to the bank, and this is a general bank issue, is there was commentary about the property market, and again whispers that perhaps things are a little bit overheated, but in the grand scheme of things, hard to see anything too disastrous happening from that angle.
So we spent a lot of time on the CBA and I'm mindful of time. Is there any other results that have stood out to you over the last few days? Bearing in mind that probably next week we might need a two-part series because we're right in the middle of profit reporting season next week. But over the last week or so, from what we've seen, was there any others that caught your eye?
Yeah, look, Suncorp was probably one, Andrew. Excuse me. Very strong insurance numbers. Banking numbers were okay, but not fantastic. Market was disappointed that perhaps there wasn't a special dividend or a bit of a dividend jump in the results. So the share price actually got hammered pretty well, but the numbers themselves actually looked pretty good. So Suncorp's one that doesn't look too bad buying around these sort of mid to highish $13 mark.
And you're right, lots of market analysts who sort of, looking for clients from an income focus in particular, as you're saying, because the dividend certainly wasn't cut, are saying at these levels it certainly looks interesting.
Yeah, but probably just one I've got on the radar, Andrew, Ingham's.
Oh, yes.
The chicken people, they report on the 22nd of August.
All right.
So at this stage, looking like they should actually beat prospectus forecasts. So, and they've listed pretty well. They came onto the market at $3.15, I think it was, from memory. This was about 6 months ago. You'd remember there was all this schmozzle pre-listing about what price they'd come onto the market at. It was high threes, low fours at one stage, and they brought it right down. I think they're currently trading about $3.45, $3.50. So Ingham's is one to maybe have a look at, potentially on the back of a reasonable result.
Because Teagle's been reasonably ordinary.
It has,
So hopefully Ingham's. I was trying to think of a chicken analogy, but the brain's not working. I'm still full of cold medicine. So that's it for this week. So Dornbusch download 150. We'll have a guest speaker next week. No idea who it is, but we'll figure that out. Till next week. Thank you.
Thank you.